Welcome to the Determined Man Podcast, where we help men become better versions of themselves and discover their life's purpose. Join us as we unlock the power of discipline and what it means to be determined. Remember, stay consistent, build the discipline, feed the motivation. Hey everyone, Zach here. Welcome to the Determined Man Podcast. Guys, this is episode 4, and I am super excited for you joining me today, and I can share this topic with you. Guys, the structure of this podcast, as you know, one episode about fitness, one episode is a book review, and then one episode like today is going to be some kind of story that I give, some life lessons that I've learned, more of just a conversation between me and you guys, give some personal feedback, maybe some advice. Hopefully you can learn something from real world experiences and things like that. And then obviously as time goes on, we're going to start having guests for the 4th episode of every month. So guys, today I want to talk about something, and I think it's perfect for when this podcast is getting released and New Year's resolutions. This is not really a story about handling different people, but more of like a story about how you handle things yourself and being determined, having that discipline to follow through with the goal. Guys, what I'm talking about right now is what everyone's kind of saying. I've seen a lot of New Year's resolution with this, dry January, okay? Not drinking in January, part of our New Year's resolutions to start the year off right. Everyone wants to be fit. Everyone wants to be focused and better. I'm guilty of it too, right? I am starting this podcast in the new year. I have a lot of New Year's resolutions that I want to do. And I think that is okay to have a goal on a certain date, the 1st or a Monday, whatever you need to do, whatever helps you accomplish those goals, I think is a good thing. And it's super interesting to me that everyone says dry January. And I don't know why. I think a lot of people understand that alcohol kind of gets in the way of their goals. It becomes a crutch that people rely on. And I just want to talk a little bit about my story and maybe some thoughts going forward. So guys, last year I decided to change my life. You guys know this already. You know, I've lost 40 pounds since then. I've gotten in the best shape of my life, turning 35 this year, better in shape than when I was 20. And one of the things that I decided to do to kickstart me into the new year was to go dry in January. I had another friend of mine. We both said we're both going to go sober for January. And honestly, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. But what really motivated me was around the 3rd week, 4th week, right towards the end of that time. Everyone thinks, oh, I should be getting excited that I can drink again in February. I started noticing so much benefit, mainly in my physical fitness and my goals towards that. Also, you know, there's benefits of saving money. You're not going out as much. You're getting better sleep, all these things. But that was the major thing. I saw the gains I was getting from my physical fitness. And so I decided to continue doing this. And then, let me get all the way up to the Super Bowl. And then maybe I'll drink at a Super Bowl party. And then I got to the Super Bowl and I was like, I don't really want to drink anymore. So I didn't drink all of February. And so then I made it about halfway through March. And then I first had my drink again. And I think one of the downfalls, I don't want to say a downfall because I had a goal and I met my goal and I exceeded my goal, was I had a big work conference thing in March. And I told myself, well, we're going to do a social. We're going to go out and we're going to have a good time. And so I'll get to then and drink then. And guys, so I was really excited. I made it 2.5 months and I did not miss alcohol at all. I really missed the social aspect of drinking. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But even then, one thing I did and really geared around my weight loss was I told myself, okay, I made great progress. I still like the social aspects of drinking. So how can I adjust my drinking? And maybe this is some steps that everyone can take. I'm not saying everyone needs to go full bore. I think there's different tactics and different ways that you can approach this if you want to approach this. But one thing I told myself is, okay, I need less calories in my beer. I was drinking too much craft beer, and I don't even like beer. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a Mich Ultra guy or a Yuengling guy. So I was having way too many calories in these craft beers. I told myself light beer only. You know, I still love a cold beer after mowing the grass, right? But light beer, less calories. Okay. And then I had a big problem with rum and Coke, mixed drinks, a lot of sugar in those drinks. And one thing it's not really a topic for this episode, but one thing I gave up last year as well, and I still haven't had, is soda. Haven't had soda in over a year. And so I was mixing all this soda with my alcohol. So I said, okay, I need to stop all that. Way too much sugar. And then also you get those sugar headaches It's a big thing. I've noticed once giving that up, I noticed how much that affected my hangovers and headaches and things like that. So I kind of wanted to get more classy, quote unquote classy. And I was like, I need to learn how to drink some bourbon and whiskey. That's what these people do. That's what they drink, smoke some cigars, all that stuff. And I tried to get that acquired taste. And to be honest, I never really got it. I kind of suffered through drinking some bourbon, but I did notice I wasn't drinking as many calorie drinks, and I did do that change. But the thing is, I have never personally really enjoyed alcohol. And when you take away the sugar from all those drinks, you realize that covers a lot of it up. And it's just, one of those things that we lie to ourselves about. So, of course, I continued drinking after that, but not nearly as much as I did. And there's still times where I had a great time, overindulged, made bad decisions. And when it came to this year, my New Year's resolutions, a lot of people do dry January again. And I said, okay, let me get back on that horse. Let me do dry January. And then I really started thinking about it. And I noticed that every time I drink, I regret it the next day. I feel myself dehydrated for the next few days. It takes me a while to, my weight to figure it out. I'm slow and, sluggish. The next couple of days, I'm not as motivated. And I was like, why do I keep doing this? And as I've gotten older and gotten more comfortable in my life, the other aspects of drinking, which, makes me maybe want to go out and party, have a great time, go dancing, do all that other stuff, right? I'm past that point in my life. I'm married, I have a career, and we need to keep our eye on the ball, right? So I think that's one of the biggest things. And me, I'm a big social drinker. So for me, the hardest thing is when I get together with the guys, have a party, what to do. And so I introduced some other things. There's some non-alcoholic beers, which I think are great options. There's, I can't remember what they're called. They're like Spindrifts or Spear Drifts. I don't know what they are, but they're like flavored water to get you that carbonation, kind of like a soda, something to drink that's not alcohol, not soda. Because water gets old. I will tell you that. Now, there are days where I just love some water, crave the water, but there are days when I want something else. So the social aspect was kind of difficult, but I think when we're talking about leveling up, bettering ourselves, and what we need to do in 2024, and what I want to do is surround myself with the right types of people. If you're a friend group, and I struggle with this, I have a lot of friends, and they're good people, great friends, that I don't want to say their hobby is around drinking, but they enjoy drinking, right? And you just have to be careful when you're surrounding yourself with too many of those types of people and they're not bettering themselves, right? And you are kind of going down to their level instead of you bringing them up to yours. I think one of the biggest compliments is I have a lot of family members who are now doing dry January, or, my mom's doing every other month sober or something like that. So I think it's good. People see it. They see the positive effects of it. And that's one of the interesting things is we kind of all deep down know drinking is bad for us, but for some reason, we've all convinced ourselves it's okay. Media and the marketing or whatever has convinced us it's okay. Social norms has convinced us it's okay. But when we all look at it logically, which we all learned in my last episode, humans are not logical creatures, right? We're emotional creatures. But we all know deep down it's not good for us, but we do it anyways. And I think, the whole purpose of this podcast is bettering ourselves, learning discipline, learning what it means to be determined. So determined is, we're going to change our life on the long term. The long term is I want to, get in better health. I want to grow my mind. I want to surround myself with like-minded people who are trying to better themselves as well and change the world, change your community, whatever it is, be leader of leaders and not cave to these little desires, right? That's where discipline helps us get to our long-term goal. Discipline is, if I have a beer tonight, is that going to affect my long-term goal? No. Okay. But it's a crack. It's a crack in the windshield. It's a crack in the wall. It's a crack in the foundation. And we need to build that discipline daily, and it helps us stack wins more than losses. I can't remember what podcast where it talks about that I've listened to. Just have more wins than losses. Don't miss 2 days in a row, right? These are things that I have learned that have helped me in my fitness journey and sticking to a diet, sticking to not drinking. Hey, if I drink tonight, don't get so beat up on yourself where you drink again tomorrow. Just, hey, okay, get back on that horse. Let's get going and get it right the next day. So guys, I know a lot of people do dry January. If you haven't started yet, it's not too late. Start dry January now. If you have started and you've already given up, that's okay. Start again now. Now, if you want to drink, I'm not saying that's bad either. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my God, don't do it. Because I don't want to ever tell anyone how to live their life. I just want to tell you my experiences. And I am telling you, it made huge gains for me in 2023. And I am actually excited for this challenge in 2024. And I'm hoping it has a lifestyle change in me. And when I read that book, The Naked Mind, about it, I think it's going to help me change my mind about it and not be afraid or insecure myself where I feel like I need that alcohol to hide whatever reason I need the alcohol in the first place, right? Like, alcohol takes away that judgment zone, which a lot of times people make really stupid, bad decisions when they're drinking, right? We all think about driving. That's the biggest one that people always kind of go to. But also maybe you go hit on someone, like a hit on a girl or something that you shouldn't. Maybe you say something inappropriate to someone. You also maybe make a fool of yourself. You're throwing up. You can't take care of yourself. Ask my friends from September. I just did this last September. I went to a football game, didn't even make it to the game because I was overindulged, right? So I think we make a lot of dumb decisions when we're drinking, and I think we always will regret it afterwards. But I'm not saying you have to give it up completely. I think we just need to be responsible and we need to be focused on our long-term goals. And that's just one of the things. I think a lot of people are into it. New Year, dry January. I think it's a great goal to try to stop for, I'm doing a year. I think 1 month, 2 months, whatever you need to do. It's progress is progress. That's one of the things I've always said. And just give it a shot. If you don't see the progress you make or you don't like the lifestyle, then go back, right? It can't hurt you to stop doing it for a little bit, see if it works, and then just double down. That's how it was with me with soda. I haven't had soda in over a year. I don't really miss soda. Soda didn't provide me any value, and all that extra sugar, and I really enjoy not having to drink it anymore. And so I know I'm all over the place with this, but also alcohol is so expensive. When you go out to dinner, when I don't have drinks, my bill is like half of what it should be, when you do drink. And we all know how food prices are. We know how it is in the restaurant business right now. It is expensive to go out to dinner or go out have a good time. I think what makes it difficult and what really is difficult for me, and I've told you guys this in previous episodes that I'm a very social person. It's really hard for adults nowadays to go out and hang out or meet and not drink. It's like when you say, hey, let's get together after work and go get a drink. Let's meet up at the bar and get a drink. Let's go watch the game and get a drink. Everything's revolved around the drinking. And I think it's very difficult for us to go into those environments, people pressuring you, people asking you questions. You just in that environment, it's easy to cave. So I would say a couple of things. Number one, if your friends are pressuring you like that, I would say maybe pull them aside, tell them you're doing this challenge or tell them you have this New Year's resolution. And if they continue pressing you on it, then they're not a true friend and you just need to drop them, right? And it might be joking with you at first, but that's fine. You say, hey, honestly, appreciate it. But I'm taking this seriously and it would mean a lot to me if you help support me instead of, ragging on me all the time about it. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, don't put yourself in those situations. They say, hey, let's go get some drinks or whatever. Maybe recommend something else. Hey, instead, maybe let's go play some disc golf or whatever people play. Or, hey, let's go for a walk or hike instead. Or, hey, let's go to a ball game. Something where it's not just drinking. There's like drinking at ball games, but it's not just going to a bar, right? So it gives you multiple opportunities, multiple options of things to do. So I think you can give those recommendations as well. So guys, I know it's a little bit all over the place, but 2023 was awesome for me. I went 2.5 months, felt great about it. It was my choice to go back to drinking, which is good. I don't think it should ever, have control over you. You should have control over it. But I just, ask you, maybe you think about it. Maybe you do that challenge and see where it takes you. I'm really excited about this challenge. A lot of people say they don't think I can make it. And also, that's one thing about me. I am super competitive. So challenge accepted. I'm all in on this. I'm pumped about it. Can't wait to see where it takes me in my fitness and my focus to help me become more disciplined and more determined, like the podcast name. So I'm ready to share my experiences with you guys. Please share your experience with me. Ask questions. If there's situations that come up, please share them. We can discuss them. And, I think it's just a great thing. 2024, dry January. If you haven't started, you can start now. If you've already failed, quote unquote failed, that's okay. Get back up on that horse and start again. Guys, my name is Zach. Thank you so much for joining me on the Determined Man podcast. And I will catch you guys later. Stay consistent, build that discipline, feed that motivation. Deuces, y'all.